What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today I'm gonna be talking about a new manga I read called Dogs and Punching Bags by Kaori Ozaki and published by Kodansha. So, this is one that is a prime example of, and this is something that I've talked about before in previous reviews and discussions I've done, specifically speaking on manga, is a great way to get my attention is either having a very eye-catching cover or a very thought-provoking title. And this one happens to have both because, like I said, when you look at this cover art, just for some reason, just the image of our main character, Nichiko, her face on the cover just draws your attention. But then also the name, Dogs and Punching Bags, is also kind of an interesting title as well. So good job on y'all for that title. But uh but yeah, so this is one that I wanted to touch on, which it is pretty much a one volume, one compilation. It's 11 chapters in one. So kind of short and sweet, but still impactful enough to where I'm doing a separate review for it, I guess is what I would say. So how I'm gonna kind of cover this is that I'm gonna kind of dive into general thoughts and themes of it, and then a little bit later I will get into specific spoilers for some things I want to discuss. But so the basic setup and premise of this is that it follows Nichiko, who is a 34-year-old woman, at least at the start of the story, who is returning to her hometown, her home village, which is basically on this little small island, um, to basically be there for her father's uh, final moments because she gets a call that her father is pretty much more or less on his deathbed. And so she returns home to basically kind of be there for the end. And then from there, the story is pretty much about her and other surrounding characters that you meet along the way and how they are all trying to find their way forward in life. And some of these characters, another one specifically, this young man named Chimaki, who is 23, he also has some very weighty things, which I would definitely get into later on in the spoiler section, that he has had to carry around in his life, which is kind of giving him a sense of need and want to provide help to those in need. And so these two characters kind of end up meeting each other because, like I said, it is a small island, so it's kind of like a classic small town vibe where everybody knows each other. There's only one convenience store, which Chimaki's family has always run and stuff, and so everybody kind of knows everybody and stuff. So one thing I really enjoyed about this was the cast of characters and the beautiful way that the art was drawn. So the author's name, Kaori Ozaki, I didn't recognize the name off the just by the name, but something about the art when I was reading, I was like, for some reason, like this cover is eye catching in the way that's kind of familiar. And so this author has done a few previous things, but the main one that I was thinking about was The Golden Sheep. Now, this is one that I always look at every time I'm at the Barnes and Nobles or some other bookstore. The art, the cover, the title, that always catches my attention. I always like glance at it for a second, but then go on. But now, after reading, uh, you know, Dogs and Punching Bags, I think I might need to circle back around and go check that one out because that one's only 3 volumes long. But anywho, so like I was saying, the characters and the art is kind of like the thing that really grabbed my attention with this volume, just because one of the things that I loved that kind of like really stuck with me that I've noticed and have reflected on in my life as somebody who is 35. I just turned 35 a few weeks ago myself. Uh, is that, kind of like the sentiment of some people we meet in life, some of them are people that end up being a part of our lives forever, but there are some people that we meet for only a small period of time just because that person might only be in your life to kind of help you get through your current moment, your current storm that you're in, to help you see through to your next path, the next part of your journey. And that is okay, because, sometimes if we really sit back and reflect on different people that we've met in our lives and stuff, and you kind of like, okay, these are the ones that have been here for a long time and stuff. But then there are those people that, hey, you knew for maybe a few months or a few years, whatever, and then hey, whether job change, you moved away, whatever the case may be, whatever, they're no longer a normal part of your life, but they were there for a key transition moment, and that's kind of what a lot of these characters are to each other, where like I said, Nichiko's, she didn't really have the best relationship with her father and stuff because their mother left them a long time ago, and then she had an older brother that, hey, as soon as he turned 18, he was out of there, and then when she became of age, she kind of did the same thing. And so now she's, she, worked these different jobs, call centers, and just trying to find her way through adulthood and stuff. And ended up meeting somebody who, you know, uh, kind of like a toxic need, to where the situation was definitely very toxic, but it was a person that kind of helped her survive in a way to get her to where she is now. And now she is kind of come along for Chimaki, and kind of helped him overcome a huge hurdle with the situation that's going on in his life and stuff. So, but all in all, like I said, even though it is just 11 chapters, it's about 300 something pages in total. But these 11 chapters were very good. Like I mentioned earlier, the art in it is very beautiful, just kind of like very calming to read, which is great considering how heavy some of the subject matter and stuff in the story is. Because, like I said, the kicking off point is her coming home to deal with her father's death, and so there is a lot of things surrounding death, as well as love and all different types of connections and bonds and family ties and stuff along the way. But this beautiful kind of like soothing art style kind of helps balance out some of the weighty nature of some of the topics and themes that are discussed in this. But all in all, this is one that I definitely highly recommend y'all give a read. And the title itself, Dogs and Punching Bags, uh, makes sense. Those couple of things are some things that kind of come up in the story, so it kind of makes sense in a kind of like a clever use of words sort of way, uh, for some moments that happen throughout the story and stuff. So, but yeah, so go check it out, because I definitely need to dive into some specific spoiler things to kind of touch on some stuff. So go read it and then circle back to this for deeper discussion. So, spoilers. Now, Chimaki, his situation. So, them kind of like breadcrumb teasing about, like, him kind of discussing, like, he has to do as much good as possible to basically kind of make up for something that he did in his past. And you kind of like wonder, like, well, okay, what did he do? What did he do? And then it's like the reveal of, oh, he killed somebody. And it's like, whoa, okay. What is the story behind that? But then it just becomes all the more sadder when you realize the truth of the situation, to where basically, and as a parent myself, this definitely kind of gives things to reflect on, not just for myself, but just for parents and adults in general, of how we kind of fantasize certain things to kids in a way to where they don't realize the gravity of what you're talking about. And so basically growing up, so Chimaki, so he's basically the middle child. So he has an older sister who is in the story who has a daughter and stuff. And then he had a twin brother. So he was the older of the twins. And so when they were kids, their mom would always read them different stories and stuff, whatever. But some of the stories had very sad endings. And so the mom would kind of put like, oh, fun little twist on the story so that the kids wouldn't be sad about it. And so one of those stories that they was talking about dealt with, death and going to heaven and stuff like that. And so she kind of like fantasized the death and stuff in a way of, oh yeah, heaven, it's this wonderful, and oh yeah, yeah, you can fly, and it's got all these snacks and just a lot of things for kids' minds and stuff, whatever. And so one day, them being kids, I think they were literally like a few years old, if at all. That they were for sure under 5 years old, so very young, very impressionable, not fully understanding stuff. And so him and his twin brother were running around and playing and stuff, whatever, on like the coast of the island or whatever. And his twin brother, actually, let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, yeah, yeah. I had to refamiliarize myself with the context. So yeah, so basically they're playing, and then the twin brother is like, "Hey, I'm gonna take a quick trip to heaven. Give me a push, and I'm gonna fly." And they're freaking, like I said, small kids. Like I said, like freaking 2, 3, 4 years old or whatever. And Chimaki pushes his brother, and they're smiling, and then obviously, he falls to his death. And so, his mother's angry and mad at him or whatever. He's blaming himself and stuff all this time for all these, you know, uh, 20 years or whatever. And so that is a very hurt, heavy weight for a person to carry with them. Like I said, especially not just a person in general, not just a sibling in general, but a freaking twin. As a father who has twin daughters, that definitely like super hit hard for me on that point. But yeah, it's like getting the reveal of that situation, and then also more context for Nichiko and how she ended up getting involved with this little bit older guy who I think he's been like a few years older than her, but he was married and had a kid and stuff, and so they kind of had an affair going on the side, and then him coming back into the picture, and so how all these different things intertwining, and then there's like this teenage girl, this 16-year-old girl on the island who has her eyes set on Chimaki, but who is 23, so she's looking at this older guy. But then there's another kid her age that is actually there along with her. So it's a lot of different relationships and people and pain and trauma and stuff all interweaved together. But like I said, it is all done so well. Now there were definitely a couple of points in the story that, at least like at first, there was definitely like a point where it went from okay, she come back home, she cuts her hair, taking care of her father, whatever, and then she Maki or somebody comes over, whatever, and then she walks in the house and oh, her dad's dead. Okay, now he's already cremated. Now she's on a boat, and it like that little section was kind of weird, like pacing wise, because it's like they just like fast forwarded through all that and stuff. So, but aside from like that little point, for the most part, the rest of the story and stuff flowed pretty well. But yeah, dogs and punching bags. Like I said, definitely one that I highly recommend. Y'all check out and give a read. So it should be out now. Like I said, it was published by Kodansha. Um, what is it? Is it Kodansha or was it Vertical Comics? I think it was Kodansha. Pretty sure, yeah, Kodansha. Um, but yeah, go check it out. So should be on store shelves now. And of course, thank you to both Kodansha and I think I got this one on NetGalley for the digital review copy of this. So appreciate y'all for the access to that. And with that, hey, if you enjoyed this, check out some of my other reviews and impressions because I do everything from discussing fatherhood and family to manga, anime, TV shows, movies, and some video games. And with that, I am out. Let me know what y'all thought of this. If you have read it or read some of Kaori Ozaki's other series and stuff, let me know if there's some other ones that I should check out. And I'll catch you on the next review discussion or the next podcast episode. Peace.